Hello, this is Gene. I want to talk about something I don't normally talk on this channel. It's about sports. And I want to talk about the UFC 227 that happened last night and earlier this morning. And I really want to talk about the two last fights, the championship fights, and where we go from now. I had a bias, obviously, in the final fight, and I'll talk to that a little bit later. But the co-main event between Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo, thought it was a good fight. I don't really think that Henry Cejudo did enough to wrest the title away from DJ. But it was obviously the closest fight that Demetrius has had in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. So it's not strange that they take it away from him, because I think the UFC needed somebody new in the flyweight division. And I looked at this after the fight. I thought that Demetrius won the fight, or it was a draw. I didn't think that Henry did enough to win the fight, to take the title from him. But just looking at it from like a WWE type of thing, it looked like that Demetrius was just, what's the word that they use? Oh, Lord, I can't remember it. Oh, you go over. And I think that he was doing that to Henry, that basically passing the torch to him while he did something else. I really think that his 100% mind wasn't behind this fight. Obviously, he got trained in. He was on weight. He still looked good, but he wasn't as good as he normally is. And this happens when you've been on the top of the mountain for a long time, and he obviously has been. And he knows that he knocked a guy out before, so it's, but he didn't look like he was really disappointed at all about it. And it might be that's just his, that's how he is, and he doesn't going to get upset about it. Of course, after the fight, he said that he had some issues with his leg. I didn't see that in the fight. This looked like Demetrius, just not at 100%. It looked about 90% of him. And that Henry did enough that he looks at the same level, and the judges gave it to him. I think that Henry only won the second round. Just because he took down Demetrius in the last round for 5 seconds, that's not enough for me to take away his championship. Now, for the division, it's a good thing, and we have things that might come out of that. But obviously, if he wants to come back, he should get the rematch. And I think if he actually trains, he'll end up beating him. The question is, I don't know that he really wants to do this anymore. I think because looking at him on the different embedded series, that I think that he's got other things going on, and he's a very frugal guy. He doesn't have a huge house. He doesn't live like in a mansion anywhere. He doesn't have crazy cars. He has a pool in the backyard that's one of those ones you can get for $40 or $400 at Costco. He doesn't look like TJ and Cody. The guys look like they have money, and they're driving around in great automobiles. He doesn't really have that. So, I also think he's got other things going on, because he realized that the UFC was not really promoting him, even though he's quote unquote one of the best players or fighters ever, pound to pound. So I think he realized he needed to do this, and I don't know. Obviously, I think if he comes back, he'll beat Henry anyway. But that kind of gets me to the next match we want to talk about, is TJ against Cody. And now that TJ won again and that feud is over, thank God. As much as I like Dominic Cruz, I think that TJ beat him the first time, and he probably never should have lost the title. But in a lot of ways, I think this helped him. It made him get better. So when he saw Cody the next time, or both times, that he was a better fighter. And I think he obviously made the right decision to leave Team Alpha Male. They are so narrow-minded and myopic. They just can't see that where they're making their mistakes with their fighter. And I think it was exactly what I expected was going to happen. Cody has no chin. When he was knocked out as an amateur by a decent punch, he got knocked out. You realize that was a problem when he's going to play somebody at a different level, a different elite level. Now, if he gets you first and he wins the fight, that's great. but he reminds you so much like Chuck Liddell. And early in his career, Liddell could take all that shit, and then he would still knock you out. And then once you get past that, where you can't take it anymore, and he's 26, 27, and that's already happened. Now there's nobody in the division right now, other than maybe the guy that's number 5, that might be able to knock out Cody, because Dom hit him a lot. Now obviously he beat Dom and deservedly beat him and won the championship. But Dom hit him a couple times, but Dom doesn't have the power that T.J. Dillashaw does. And I guess people are going to say now that T.J. needs to go back against Dominic Cruz. I'm not sure that Dominic Cruz wants that fight. He might say he wants it, but I don't necessarily think that he wants that, because now T.J. is another level again since when he fought Cruz. And Cruz is 33 now, and he's dealing with injuries, and he does so well on the TV and stuff. I just don't think he needs to come out and fight him. Obviously, if it's enough money, he will do it, and maybe in a 5-round fight, he might. I just don't think it'll happen, and I think TJ will probably end up knocking him out. And obviously, Cruz has never been knocked out, but I think it's very possible this might happen in that fight. The question is, what's next for these guys? I don't think that Henry should be allowed to go up and fight Dillashaw. I don't think it is. He needs to do a rematch if Demetrius wants to have that rematch. And TJ Dillashaw, I don't know what's best for him. Obviously, he's going to take some time off. The drama in the last 18 months about all this stuff, I'm just proud, or whatever it's done. Because all along I was on TJ's side, not just I'm sure that both sides had violent points, but clearly there was a problem with when you say you're team alpha male and you're going against everybody else, then your mindset is just I have to deal with what's right here, and you don't know what other things going on around. So they're a bunch of babies, and it was nice to see that he knocked him out twice. And I don't really understand why Cody has not really matured enough to where he couldn't touch gloves, because once he didn't hit the gloves, I said he's going to get knocked out again. It's just a stupid thing to do. Be mature about it, doing it. And the other thing is that as great as he was against Dominic Cruz, after Cruz hit him a couple times, it couldn't really hurt him enough. Then Cody played a very good tactical game and went in when he wanted, but he couldn't do that. He could never take his emotions away, and he had to continually go in. I got to knock you out with one punch, and that just fed into T.J. Dillashaw. And just, if it's the coaches are saying, yeah, you're so good, you're just going to run him over because now you're 100% healthy, you're going to just run him over. Or he should have. I thought that his best plan was to stay back, counter punch, and take the fight, go deeper into the fight. And if you have to, outpoint him and win the championship. What's more important? Is it to win the championship, or you got to get it back and knock him down because he knocked you out last time? That's not how the fight game is. You have to. But TJ also knew that he couldn't really hurt him. He knew that he might get stunned, but he felt his biggest punch in that first fight, and he got hit in this fight as well. But at the same time he was getting hit, he was also delivering damage, and there's a different level here when it comes to who can take the shots. And TJ is a more mature guy anyway. He's 4 or 5 years older than him, and I just don't think that. I don't want to put a curse on Cody, but I think this is it for him. Now again, he could still go through the division and knock out people before they get to him, but once your chin has been exposed, and I mean it's funny. TJ talked about this going up to the fight, says he doesn't have a good chin, and now you think that he was trying to get under his skin. He got knocked out when he was an amateur by a punch that wasn't, it was a good punch, but it's how the body reacted to it is the difference. And he got knocked out with a big punch in that first fight. In this fight, he was a warrior at the end. He got beat the shit up, and he got up, so I give him credit for that. But he doesn't have, again, I'm comparing him probably to maybe the greatest bantamweight fighter of all time. So it's kind of hard to say Cody, you know, maybe anybody else in the division you'd be fine against. But it is what it is. So I'm glad this is done. This drama is done. You know, that entire fight, the 2.5 minutes I was watching it, my heart, or actually it was 4.5 minutes, but my heart was going crazy. Yeah, it's because you knew anytime anybody could knock you out, and that's nice to see or feel. So I don't know what's up. If you guys have any comments about what happened in the fights last night, or if you want me to talk about this in the future, we can do that. Again, I don't know what's next. I think it's going to be. I believe if Dominic Cruz decides to come back and fight, it's going to be them two fighting each other probably at the end of the year or early next year. But it's possible that TJ will fight somebody else in the division, or if Cejudo comes up. Now, this is an interesting. I was going to get rid of this, or I was going to stop this video, but I'll just say this real quick. As elite as a fighter or as a wrestler that Cejudo is, it's possible he could cause TJ some problems. I just don't think that Cejudo's been able to get him down, and I think if he gets in, he's going to get knocked out. The issue is TJ Demetrius was given really good information during the rounds, in between the rounds, and he didn't really listen. He usually listened to his coach, but he wasn't really listening to him, because Henry does put his head down. And a couple times he tried to do that and he messed up and he almost got taken down by it. If you do that and you get into TJ's power area, it's not going to be a good thing. Now, obviously, again, Cejudo is probably a 135 fighter anyway. He's a big dude. He's not tall, but he's muscular. So that's probably the right place he's going to be, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing. He's probably a bigger guy than TJ Dillashaw, but pound per pound right now, it's hard to say who's better than TJ right now. When you look at all the still skets and all that stuff. As much as I like DC, he's lost twice to Jones, regardless of Jones being on shit, but he's lost. So it's hard to tell him that he's the best of all time, and TJ just lost. So right now, I think if you look at the new pound per pound, I think that TJ has to be right there, because all these other fighters are not fighting. You can't put Tony Ferguson up there. You can't put Conor until Conor comes back. If he beats Khabib, then you put Conor back up. But right now, it's TJ Dillashaw. So again, if you want me to keep talking about something like this, if I get more 50 views, then I'll think maybe talking about sports in the future. A lot of sports, I watch all type of sports, from rugby to soccer to football to baseball to women's sports to UFC to golf. I talk about all this stuff, and it's a nice thing to get away from all the other shit that comes from the political side, or feminism or stuff that I talk about, or white genocide. It's better to talk about sports that kind of like gets me away from that, and we just talk about normal stuff like that. So let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good day. Bye.